make sure it's live.
Go.
Hey guys, fishing stuff. Today, we talking about, I don't know what we talking about because they didn't tell me yet. What we talking about?
Hey, is somebody hacking our show?
I think somebody's hacking our show.
I think somebody's hacking our show.
Somebody's coming into the show.
Let's kick him off the full screen.
Let's get him
That's
out.
not fair. That's not fair. No. And welcome to Twerking Tuesday Tackle Talk. I am one of your hosts, Kelly Bullock, the Bullock Experience, a.k.a. Big Fish Slayer. Yeah, it's one of those directions.
One of those
Whatever.
directions. Whatever.
Whatever. Yeah.
We know that right
person
there.
There.
Right. It's like a vicious circle, you know.
Yeah, and down there. Yeah, it's over that way. This over here is, as you all know, this is Kevin from K&B Anglers, Mr. Twerking Monkey.
I'm the son of Twerking Monkey.
Yeah, the son of Twerking Monkey.
I'm a son of Twerking Monkey.
Yeah, he is a son of a Twerking Monkey.
And everybody knows this fishing food down below us, y'all. Mr. Keith Robinson, how you doing, brother?
Good. How y'all doing?
No, pretty good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
What was your plan on trying to take over our show? What was all that about?
You don't want me to tell them that. They made me do it.
They made him do it.
They paid me. I don't know what they paid you in, but they.
We paid him in PVC pipe.
But
It's so
for the ones that don't know who you are, which I'm hoping everybody in the chat knows exactly who you are, because if they don't, they've been living under a rock for the last so many years. Just kind of let them know who you are.
Keith Robinson. I do a YouTube channel called Fishin and Stuff, where I make things, do hacks, having to do with fishing. I run experiments. That's what I'm doing this week, a little experiment. But no, I fish occasionally, every once in a while.
You started out fishing originally.
Yeah, I started out fishing.
Yeah.
I will say most of his first probably 20-something videos, 30-something videos were just fishing videos, and then it just started going into the DIY, the fishing hacks and stuff.
Yeah, I kind of like making stuff as much as I like fishing. So I was doing some, and then I just decided to just do that. I guess fishing, the guys that fish, I kind of feel bad for them because it's hard. I mean, like in the winter, when there's a drought or when it's really hot, there's just times it's hard to fish. But I can build stuff all year long, so I just do that.
Yeah, Chad says that you quit fishing after losing to him.
Yeah. He lost to me last tournament. I'm just saying. He actually lost his phone, too.
Yeah.
He lost everything.
He lost everything.
Yeah, phone,
I didn't get a chance to
rod.
speak before you left, so.
You didn't get to come either. You was at the first one. Was you there?
I was there, and that was.
I didn't get to see you then.
You left before. We pulled up to the dock to do the.
Y'all put in at Buster Boy?
Yeah, we put in at Buster.
We put in at South Point. That's why we didn't get to see you.
That's right. See, we were over on South Point. Right, you left just as we pulled up, and Freddie Beck and Chad and them come down to the dock. You had just left. That's what they told me.
Oh.
So I didn't get to see you at that time. But,
yeah, we stayed over too. The tournament ended, and we just kept fishing for a while.
Yeah.
It was hot.
What we did. We went several spots. We saw some big fish, but there wasn't no way we could put baits and water on them because they were ate up with I don't know.
White perch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of the two. I don't know exactly what it was, perch or gizzard shad or what it was, but It was a bunch of them, I can tell you that. So we didn't even bother to drop baits on them. It was just, it would have been a 50-50. It'd been like a 10-60 chance if we
Yeah.
just caught them. Yeah, so we marked some good ones though. But yeah. Oh, let's see what. Oh, I saw something.
I had to say one thing is talk about the DIYs and stuff. It's kind of like it's a redneck kind of thing. It's like all those whatchamacallits and doohickeys and
Yeah,
so Keith, you're gonna have to come up with like 6 redneck hacks or something. Instead of all the fancy welding and all that stuff you do.
I try a little bit of everything. I mean, that's how you learn on YouTube, though. You got to try a little bit of everything because, one of the first videos I ever had do really good was PVC, and I only did it that weekend because I was kind of pressed for time, and I thought, well, PVC a little bit faster. That's what I thought anyway. But that video did really good, and it wasn't really a planned video to blow up. It just happened, and so you learn things experimenting.
Kind of give them an idea. How long does it take you to come up with, say, one of your episodes? Say if you're doing like a PVC hack, it's got like 6 PVC hacks in it. How long does that normally take you to come up with all those ideas?
It's usually no, like the first ones are generally kind of, they're easier. They're not easy, but they're easier. Like my first bucket hacks. But then when you do 17 bucket hacks, you just don't have no more ideas. So to give you an idea, my last bucket hack video was 2 years ago, and then I put one out 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. So it took 2 years to come out with the next one. But that sounds crazy, but like I run out of ideas and I keep a lot of notes. I just write things down.
I got one of those. So I'm being told that my volume is not exactly up to par tonight. Are you guys able to hear me okay?
I can hear you.
So
yep.
What about you all in chat? Is it just my buddy, or is it all of y'all can't hear me and everything? So they're talking smack in the chat.
Yeah, they're talking. Chad and Uncle Lou and J Dog, they're all talking smack about who's beating who and who's whooping who and who's spanking who and.
Which I kind of think.
I'm not going to get into all the nasty stuff. All I know is somebody slapping somebody's butt and touching somebody.
Uncle Lou's got him beat. I think Uncle Lou's got him beat here. He's telling Chad, no service here in God's country on the water. I would have wiped your mouth, slapped your behind, and seen that hole by now.
I told you. Somebody's talking about slapping somebody on the butt, touching somebody.
Touching somebody.
No one in this chat, they ain't no telling you. You'll see somebody in there just going, "Oh, he touched me! Quit touching me!"
All right, Michelle says I'm a little low. Larry says that I'm a little low. Says a little low volume. I don't understand.
Yeah, they're saying you just have a little low volume.
Yeah, which I mean, I know Keith, your volume's a little loud, so.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a little bit loud.
Let me see. I don't know how to control this thing.
Yeah.
I don't do live streams.
J Dog says Uncle Lou is a one.
Is that better?
Wonder. Are you talking about spanking Chad? He's a one hit wonder. He spanks him one time and that's it.
Yeah, right.
Is that better?
A little bit.
That's better.
Yeah.
Okay,
I moved the mic.
How to change your volume up? I guarantee you.
I moved the
you're on your. Are you on your laptop or are you on your desktop?
No, I'm on the laptop.
Probably volume ain't up.
I've got it on automatic adjust. That might be why. Let me do this right. Yeah. How can you hear me now?
Yeah, it's a lot better.
That's better.
Yeah, it was on automatic. I think what it was is because I had it on automatic. What was happening was Keith was overriding my speakers, so it was actually going below.
There's the Baking King.
Matter of fact, you might want to check yours, Kelly.
Oh, mine's fine. It's just when I walk away from the mic.
Yeah.
I got the mic right in my mouth.
Oh, Mark, we know who's making the noise. I won't name names. So, let me ask you this. I got a couple of good questions for you. Whatever. Good
Over
questions.
here, because of the teddy bear in the background.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's back there too.
He's back there going, "Oh no, not again, not again."
So when you started your DIY section, you started out fishing first, and then you started the DIY section, with the buckets and such as that, with little life hacks and such as that. Did you ever think that it would take off the way it did?
I hoped it would. I kind of when I decided to do just DIYs, I kind of had a plan in mind, and the first 2 videos, I was like, that ain't kind of what I got in my head, because the hardest thing about YouTube is, like, most people has good taste. You know what you want, but it's hard to get it from your head to the video. You know what I mean? To do it just like you see. And after about 2 or 3 tries, I did a video and I thought, I like that. I mean, it wasn't good. If I go back and watch it now, it ain't good at all. But it was, I guess, the pacing, everybody has their own style of editing. Yeah. Like the way you put your videos together. I like the style and I like the pacing, and I just kept doing it and improving it. But I thought it would do good. I didn't know it would do as good as it did. I mean,
yeah, you definitely found your niche in YouTube. That's for sure. That's good to sell.
I mean,
which is good because your fishing wasn't all that great. So,
well, fishing does good for some people. I mean,
I love you, buddy.
Me and Keith talked on the phone, and we've talked about the DIY. I mean, there's a ton of people out on YouTube that do DIYs and fishing hacks. It's just, the thing is doing it right, getting the words right, and hitting that sweet spot, what we call on the algorithm, to really push it off. Because I've seen some DIYs that are close to what Keith does. They may have 100 and something views, and they've done it 3 years ago. Yeah. I mean, it's just they just not hitting it just right.
Well, I'll tell you, in my opinion, Keith, and I'm not going to blow your head up no further than what it is, but
no, it's not.
Yeah, I'm playing so with you, man.
But no, it really ain't.
I know. For all of you guys that don't know this, Keith and I are pretty good friends, so we can talk like this to each other. But no, I mean, in my opinion, and I've told you this before, what makes your channel so much more interesting than the others, like Billy was talking about, is not so much what you do, but how you present it. That's what makes those videos.
That's what I meant by your style.
Right.
Like, I guess it's presentation, but I call it style. It's like, some people have, my style, my presentation, my style is real fast paced. And you don't have to do it fast paced, because like Richard Jean kills it, and he's kind of slow paced. And you really just need to be different. That's the problem. We go like, I'm going to do it like this guy. I'm going to do it like this guy. And that's where you go wrong. You kind of got to find your own thing, different than everybody else. Niche. Yeah. Right. Do it your way.
Your own personality. Your own niche. Your own personality. Yep.
When you're different, you stand out more. You're more noticeable. There's no other size out there, but everybody loves Silent Duck Dynasty. He's just different. You know what I mean? He's funny. Well, he calls you Jack. And he's got that tea glass. Those little things he does.
Speaking of your own style and stuff, there's a few people that wants to know, where is the lure at today? What is he up to today?
He's down in the building, locked up in the drawer. He's being punished because he's such a smart aleck.
I know. It's funny that we talk about he's being a pain and funny, but I did have a little joke for him today, and I wanted to put it out there. It says, what do you call 2 knees?
2 knees?
2 T's.
2 T's?
Or no, 2 knees.
D's.
D's.
Yeah.
Knees.
2 D's, double D.
2 knees. Knees. Like your knees. 2 knees.
Oh, knees. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
A tuna fish. A 2 knees fish.
2 knees
Oh my
fish.
The dad to the day goes to
he likes those bad jokes, so hey.
Hey, that was
it's
bad,
right
though.
up the
That was like, I don't even think the Lord would have told that one.
Right. No.
So on that note, Kelly,
I know they're bad. By the way, that's kind of the humor in it. It's just it's so corny. It's fun.
so with that being said, we haven't done something that we normally do, Kelly, only because we've been having such a great time so far. Is we haven't said hello to our peoples and welcome them into the show. So we got Mr. Joshua, 51 Cleveland, Catfish in Fresno. Oh look, there's Canby Anglers. Oh wait, that's me. FD Fisherman, Mr. Rebel himself.
Finally, he actually says hello to the people that was actually on his own account and not mine.
Well, I had to use my phone to do that. So see Pontoon Jody. Jody says she's driving and listening. Laughing Cat, Larry's hunting and fishing. And for those of you who don't know, Larry's hunting and fishing is the twin brother of Rebel Duke. And when I say twin brother, I'm talking the twin. Like if they could swap places, you really wouldn't know that they were which was which. So I have to be careful what I say sometimes.
I feel sorry for their mother.
Oh yeah. Who else do we have? Art and Adventure with Tasha and their wives. That's right. Catfish Bandit. Who else was it? Lisa Elliott. Mr. Nick. Sogo. How you doing there, Nick? J Dogs in the house. 922 Crappie BBQ. Again, I'm hungry. Of course, we've already talked about Chad being in here. Glad that Chad was able to make it. Michelle, it's all mine. Uncle Lou, of course. Fan Secret TV, what's up, what's up? And I think
David
got
Smith,
Mark.
Laughing Cats, Mr. Thomas.
Yeah. Mark from Catfish Crappie. Crispus.
There's Alan.
I got to tell a story about Mark's last name. So we were talking the other day at work, and we were talking about how to pronounce last names. So I was like, I got a name for you. So I pulled Mark's Catfish Crappie website up, and I was like, see this dude right here? I'm gonna spell his name for you, and I want you to pronounce it for me. Okay. Oh my God, I should have been recording that, but it was hilarious.
The worst butchering of his name ever.
Oh, was it though? And then whenever I told him what it was like, hey, I can see that. I'm like, yeah, right. It was fun. We got Nate, Wabash,
laying the
Serena in the house. Rillo, Agent Rillo. I got Roger. He stopped in. I guess he's still in the house. David Smith, of course. Like you said that. Mr. Brian
B. 71 people in the house. Appreciate everybody coming in here.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So I think we're up to date. KC's Fish page. So good evening, good evening. My buddy Jimmy probably won't be in tonight. He had to have a wisdom tooth pulled this morning, so he's probably laid out under some good drugs right about now. So that's my preacher. I know he was last night. He was quite hilarious on the phone.
Hey, he's probably talking in tongues.
Probably was.
You know where I'm going for that one.
Yes, sir. So
I've already said that. Keith, you missed it before the show. It's probably 30 minutes before the show. Oh gosh, we were hitting the TikTok like hard, and it was. I'm going somewhere for this one. watching these little guys throw javelins, and it turns around they're toothpicks.
Yeah, the little people.
I'm going for that one.
We're not talking about the Irish. So the other question I had for you, Keith, was what in your opinion was one of the hardest hacks or DIYs that you had to put together? If you had to pick one, and I don't mean to put you on the spot, but it's
the hardest. I'm just trying to think through all of them. The rod holder that mounted to the seat post, you know the one I'm talking about, that held like 8 rods. That one was a little bit hard. I think the hardest one, I don't know, I've run into some hard stuff. the anchor that folded down, that was pretty hard. It got a little aggravating.
Oh yeah.
But because usually when I'm making something, I just figure it out as I go. I kind of have a plan, but it don't always work out. I don't go by a blueprint.
Yeah.
There's been a few hard ones.
What about the weldless anchor?
Yeah.
The weldless anchor, it worked out pretty good. I mean, that took a long time to think up, though. Like, I thought about that when I tried. I went through everything I could use in my head and ended up with that. But I wanted to get like some shelf brackets or something for the tines and make it as simple as possible. But I just couldn't find the right stuff. So, but it's still pretty simple.
Now, which one is the one that you look back to now and is like, okay, this is the best one I've ever came up with?
I don't know. Probably. Dang. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of them gets copied a lot. So, and I don't care, but people make videos about them, and a lot of people don't kayak fish, but the nav light, that one really worked really good, better than you would think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like that one.
And I made that one years ago when I had a kayak, and that's all I had. I didn't have a boat. And I looked online, and everything was just junk. I was like, it's either junk or it costs $150. So I like that one. I liked a bunch of them.
What I like is that, I mean, you talked about it was your LED lights, your green LED lights.
Yeah.
It's like, because we talked about it, it's like, you bought one, and then you realize you could make one a lot cheaper.
Yeah, well, a lot of people's made those. I mean, there's a lot of videos of that, so it wasn't like an original idea, but the one where I put the shrink tubing in it, and I used 24 volts strips so I could plug it in where my trolling motor went. I thought that was cool because
Michelle was saying that drilling rocks for weights. I assume that's one that she liked.
Which one?
Drilling rocks for weights.
Oh, that was hard.
I imagine it was. How many did
you gotta have a good drill bit to a rock.
For real. How many did you bust before you was able to get it right?
I didn't bust any. I picked the wrong rock a couple of times, and it just wouldn't drill a hole in it. And I just chunk it aside and get another rock. You kind of need soft rocks because each rock's made out of different. Like granite, you don't want to try to grow granite.
Not unless you got a diamond.
Yeah, it's hard.
And you better have a good lube, either water or some sort of
I thought the rebar was cool. The rebar one drilled real easy. I mean, it was kind of like the rock, and then I dipped it so it wouldn't rust and plastic dip. I thought that turned out good.
I like the
one I like is Michelle mentioned it was the magnetic guide poles for your boat.
Yeah, I ain't got to try them. I know I'm gonna knock them off if you can't drive good, but they're sealed up so the ends should float instead of sink. That's what I'm hoping.
That goes for everybody that comes down from Ohio, especially the Kentucky. Do not use those kind of poles because they're going to come off because you all cannot drive and back boats in. Trust me, I've seen you all many, many times.
I see we've got a few more extra people in the house. Double Hook Angling, Mike Urban, of course, which was in here earlier. Glad he was able to get back in here. Avid fisherman. We've already said Brian B. catfishing. Brian B. was saying the multi T-bar DIY was pretty awesome. Who else was it? David Kennedy stated that the only thing we need to find is something to hold more demon dragons when you run out of room in the tackle box. I saw one or more. Kentucky Catman's in the house. I assume that he's still in the house. He at least popped in and said, "Hey, Outdoors in Maryland." Says, "Hey, buddy. Hey, look, you have fishing and stuff. Laugh out loud. What's up, dude?" Who else? Off the Hook Outdoors. What's going on? And we're caught back up again.
Somebody asked about
my buddy Scott from Outdoors in Maryland says his favorite is the GoPro floating stand on the water.
In the water. And you made that. I saw so many people doing that. I even went so far to think about it anyways, doing my own, but I was like, nope, just as short as I make one, it'll sink and I'll lose the GoPro. Not happening.
Put a lot of pool noodles on it.
Yeah.
That's why you try it in the bathtub or in the pool first.
Yeah, exactly.
It gives you some cool shots, of your boat if you don't run over it.
I tell you something, Keith, I saw that was pretty cool. And the look of this, and this was actually made, I don't know if it was actually an add-on or if it was something that was made from the factory. But when we were up there, when all of us, you and I and Chad and all of us were up there at Lake Wiley, we had Richard Warscout got the Storm Cat. Well, on the front of the Storm Cat was a rod holder. Now, this rod holder was actually made out of metal, but it was identical to your PVC rod holder rack. But it was
Which
made
one?
right. I can't remember which.
You talking about that goes on the seat?
Yeah, that goes on like a seat.
I did a metal one before I did the PVC one too.
Well, the one that was on the Storm Cat was metal, but it was painted up the same color of the boat. And it appeared to be what it appeared to be was like they made it at the factory.
Yeah, those have been around a while. That wasn't my idea. That was just those have been around. I didn't come up with that. Wasn't an original idea. I just wanted to make one.
But the cool thing about it was I actually got to see it in action. That's my point.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Rebel Duke. Yeah, I hear you, brother. Rebel done went out there and caught him a couple of nice fish out there on Sinclair, and now he thinks that I catch small fish.
Did he beat your PB?
No, he ain't beat my PB at all. But I'm the one that put him on his PB.
I did.
Now, whatever. I'm telling you, let me stroll my 50 up on here, and we're good. It's coming. It's coming soon, son. I got fishing and stuff to do. So,
but he'll be done in about 30 minutes. So what's your excuse?
Oh no! Rebel see fishes in the toilet.
Hey, those rubber duckies don't count.
Yeah, right. So besides the hacks and the DIYs and the filming and such that you like to do, Keith, I know you're passionate about YouTube. As far as you like to do, you like being on YouTube. You like doing your videos and everything, and you and I have talked in length about certain things to help channels and such as that. For someone that's just getting into YouTube or struggling as a YouTuber, what advice could you give them at this moment concerning YouTube?
I've said this on some other shows, and take it to heart, because I'm not being critical or think I'm better than nobody, because you're never good enough. And like, if I had to do it over again, I would probably. Everybody looks for a secret. Like, there's an algorithm secret that I can find, and it'll just make me blow up. But like you said, there's people that that has hacks and stuff like mine, and they're pretty close to mine, but they don't get the views. But it's, if I could go back and start over from the beginning, I would just work on making good videos. The best I could make them, like take the extra time to do things that you don't do. That's the only way I can explain it, because don't take the short way out, because it takes me a long time to make a video, but it pays off in the end if you put that time into it. You know what I mean? Like,
so give an example. How many hours do you have in at least one of your DIY videos?
About 30 or 40 in every video. Yeah. Around. So, I mean, it's hard to say.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like you're just going to go sit down on your computer and spend 30 minutes to an hour on a video, cutting and pasting. No, it's taking you like a full-time job to make a good video. Yeah,
I get burned out because, like, I worked for, well, I didn't do it that way for the whole 5 or 6 years, but for 5 or 6 years I've worked and did YouTube on the weekend, and my whole weekends took up. And sometimes I'll try to start in the middle of the week doing some filming and stuff, because I know I'm going to be editing all weekend or finishing up my video. And yeah, it takes a long time, and I'm not saying you have to do it that way. Like, some people do good videos and they don't got that much time into it. But all I'm saying is, instead of looking for a trick to do better on YouTube, like, take the time to actually make it better. Because on Mark's show, I said people talk about the algorithm. They're people's watching you. Yeah. And if you make it good, the better you make it, the more they'll want to watch you. I mean, you got to look at it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was gonna say it was like I was saying earlier. One of the things that sets you apart from everybody is the fact that you make it different. You know, you're talking about how fast paced it was, and yeah, that is true. But it's not so much the fast pace, but the rhythm that you have. You know, it's like you got a rhythm. You can almost beat a drum.
Personality.
Yeah, that personality that's behind it. You know, and I've met you in person. I mean, we like I said, we're friends, and we know each other. We talk on the phone. We met in person. You know, we've had good laughs. And I know you're the same way in person as you are on your hacks or on your
kind of.
Well, there's some differences, but
I'm a little quieter in person.
Yeah, not when you're around me.
No, I just mean, like, I ain't going because when you edit, it seems like I never take a breath on video.
Oh yeah. That's true. Outdoors in Maryland stated, doing hacks for so long, how hard it is to come up with new hacks? How hard is it to come up with new hacks?
It gets hard. It gets hard sometimes. That's why I don't do them every week. I had to, like, think of stuff up. Sometimes somebody will give me an idea, and I'll put it on there.
Well, it's like, I mean, we talked about doing that little the pool noodle bank one. But you came up with actually send you another one just like it, but it was PVC, the carrying case.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
For like 4 rod holders.
Yeah.
4 rod to carry it on the bank. See, I mean, that was kind of like the same kind of deal I was talking to you about, was coming up with something like that with pool noodles. But hey, I like the PVC part of it. It's a lot more sturdy, a lot more just flexible, like a pool noodle would be.
I tell you what I did. You're talking about that little suitcase, carrying case. I bought I think it's Berkeley that makes the little rod holders that you put up in your, in your garage or your house or whatever, put your rods in. It's like a 2-piece thing. One's got just the holes that the butt sits down in, and then the other piece is where the actual rod sits into it, and then you can lock it and the plate doesn't fall out. So I bought them, and originally I took some wood, some 2x2 pieces of wood that I had, and I tacked them all into that, and that's what I used as a little carrying case, so to speak, for my rods whenever I go like bank fishing or pier fishing or whatever. So I could tote my rods and have 3 or 4 rods to be able to tote that way. After seeing the PVC one, and the fact that the wood that I had used was not treated and it was like starting to warp, I took that loose, and then I put PVC, or I hooked it to the PVC instead, and it seemed to work a lot better. So yeah, that was on you, brother.
It's really the hard thing about YouTube is holding people's attention. Like because people get bored easy. I mean, that's just the way people are now, and that's where the lures came in and different things like to keep the pace faster, keep it more interesting, I guess. And I seen a question earlier. Somebody asked, when did I come up with the lures?
Yeah.
Or why did I come up with the lures?
I think it
or
was,
how did I, maybe. But how did I come up? But I really can't remember how or why I came up with the lures. I really can't. I've been using them a long time. But I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. And I've had fish talking, several different lures. I had zombies talking on one movie. I don't know. I just did it a bunch, and honestly, I was going to take the lures off. I thought they were a little bit corny.
That was it.
But,
He's had to come up with the lure characters.
But after going to the last catfish conference, which I saw Serena at, I seen her on here. She's cool in person. And but after going to that and seeing all the kids that liked it, I was like, I'm just gonna leave the lures on there. I can't take them off.
Need you get you a shirt made with it on there?
There you go. With the
and just have something on, something about there's no telling what kind of bad joke coming out of my mouth or something going with a bad joke.
And name one of them. And name one of them, Kelly.
No. But back on a serious note here. You're talking about the attention, trying to keep people's attention, and we talked about it. What is your idea, your opinion on the amount of time that you need to keep somebody's attention on a video? To make them want to watch it?
The whole video, if you can. That's. I mean, what do you mean?
What's the threshold? If you can get it past a certain amount of time.
What's the length of your video? I think Kelly's trying to ask what length of your video is.
What's the best length?
Yeah.
Mine, I've seen, I mean, there's channels that break the rules, so you can't, there's not really any rules. But I've seen there's channels that blew up and got millions of subscribers doing 5-minute videos. But mine, it seems like I do better if they're over 10 minutes long. They do better. But I don't never have a real long one. They're 10 to 17 minutes usually. Somewhere in that range. But the thing is, you don't want to lose your audience. Like, shorten that video if you're going to lose your audience. Have you noticed at the end of my videos have you noticed here lately, like when I get to the end, I'll go, if you like this video, go watch this video. Right. I'm serious. Go watch it because this one's over. And this ends. Like, I ain't out or nothing. I started doing that because I worked hard to get the beginning of my video fixed. Because you have a drop. Everybody has a dip at the beginning. And then it levels off. And where it levels off at, that's the big thing. Is it leveling off at 30, 40, 50, 60%.
That's what I was talking about, that time frame to get them past it.
Well, if you're dipping too low at the beginning, you're screwing up the whole beginning. Yeah. Like you're taking too much time, you're boring people. Something's going on at the beginning. So I started, instead of saying stick around, showing logos, any of that, I just started getting into the videos faster, and that actually got a little higher. So, and you gotta figure out a way to hold them at the beginning. They'll stay through the video. And then when you get to the end, if you start jacking your jaws too much, it'll drop before the video's over. So that's why I started just cutting them off. Like, go check this one out if you liked it, because this one's over. And I just end it. That sounds ridiculous, but now my chart's kind of like this all the way to the end. It don't go at the end, it drop off. Yeah. But, so I am playing games, But the games are not like tricks to make you do better at YouTube. The games are making your videos better. That's how you fix things. That's why I said if I could go back, I would just try to make better videos. That's the whole trick to it, because the better they are, the more people watch, I guess.
Well, in your case, when you're saying, well, go check this one out because this one's really cool. Like, basically, you're saying is like, hey, you need to go look at this one. Go, and they will go and look at it. If you're telling them it's going to be awesome, just because they've already been through your whole video, they're going to go to that one because that one you're pointing out. Hey, you need to go look at this. This one's cool.
Yeah. Well, I just try to do it. I try to do it really fast too, like. And don't take nothing I say wrong way, because I've been doing it a long time and I've made all those mistakes. So I'm not talking like I now look back at the video and I'll go, dang, I talk too much. But back then I was doing really good growing and I just thought I was doing it right. But looking back now, I'm like, man, I could have fixed this a lot sooner and been bigger than I am now. You know what I mean? Looking back, it's always 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're always learning, and you look at those graphs. Pay attention. Like if you see a spike in the graph, if it's going like this and it spikes up and comes back down, that means people rewinded. The only way it can go up in the middle of the graph and spike is if they seen something they liked and they backed up and watched it again. So it makes it go up there.
Right.
And you kind of pay attention to the graphs and figure out, why are people leaving here? Why are they doing that? I know that sounds simple, and it's not as simple as it sounds.
If you can learn from it, though, like you were saying, if you can watch those graphs and learn from those graphs, then it actually puts you in mind. Okay, don't do this, but do this to make a better video.
And like I said, it's not about the algorithm; it's about people. Quit thinking about that. I know there's algorithm. I get it, and I know all that stuff. I've studied it too. But you'll do better if you start thinking. Quit thinking about algorithm. Think about why are these people leaving? You know what I mean? The algorithm's only doing things because of the people.
Right.
Like the algorithm looks at it and goes, they don't like it, so they'll quit showing it.
Well, I'll tell you something. You come out the people. I'll tell you something that I did recently that I think, because I haven't put out enough since I've been doing this. I haven't put out enough videos yet to really look at it to make sure. But I just started polling people, different people that I had their numbers or I had them on Facebook or whatever, and just straight up asked them, what do you see about my videos that I could do different? And one of the top things that they said was, and I think I even asked you, Keith, one of the top things was, get rid of your intro. Be done with your intro.
Yeah.
And so I, thought about it, and I said, okay. So I ran, I've done a few videos where I literally have no real intro. I just go right into the, to the fishing aspect of it. I cut my intro completely out, and then shorten the outros.
The big people say that if you're gonna have any intro, like the first thing you should do in a video is confirm that the title wasn't clickbait. In other words, like if you say building a boat out of plywood, the first thing you should do is go, today we're building a boat out of plywood. We went to Lowe's, spent $200, and go into your video fast, get them hooked. That way they know that they didn't misunderstand the title and it wasn't clickbait. You done affirmed we're doing what it said we're doing. And that a lot of the big YouTubers says that works good. But intros like you're talking about, you're probably talking about little video intros and stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
people don't.
Yeah, it's like almost a 30-minute countdown there, Kevin.
Yeah.
Well, something I noticed. There's a guy on YouTube I watch because he's really smart and he teaches YouTube, and it's called Film Booth, I think. It's the name of his channel. He's really smart. He's from England, I think. But he was he said something that made me think. He said, when's the last time you were watching Mr. Beast video? And he goes, hey guys, Jimmy, or hey guys, Mr. Beast. Like, I kind of got stuck doing that. Hey guys, fishing and stuff. But he don't even say his name. You know what I mean? So and he's the biggest seller. And you go, well, everybody knows him. No, it don't matter what your name is. If they've never seen you before, they don't care what your name is. They just want to see if you got a good video. And after they start liking your videos, they'll find out what your name is. You don't have to tell them. But
yeah, that's true.
So,
I just received a message from Maurice. He was saying that he was sorry he couldn't make it in tonight. Apparently, he's at the cancer center. I assume with his wife. If hopefully it's nothing major, you guys keep Maurice case in your thoughts and prayers. I know they're still ongoing battling with that situation. So, just want to let you know that he is thinking about you, Keith. It would have hated to miss the show.
He's a good dude. I like Maurice Casey.
Maurice
He's
is,
a
man.
Really good dude. I've actually met him before.
I think you met him the same time that I met him at the 2019
Catfish Conference.
Yeah. I still remember that to this day. That he comes walking towards me. I seen him making a beeline. And I'm like, surely he's not walking to me, you know. And me and Pop, we were like making our way out, and he rolls right up on me and holds his hand out. I go to shake his hand. He goes, "I know you, but you don't know me."
Yeah.
To this day,
Say that. He told me. He said, I've thought about making a YouTube video a bunch of times. I was like, and I stood over and talked to him. I was like, well, you should make one. And I was like, I had him convinced. I'm like, I'm going to wait on that video, and I'm still waiting.
He's got a lot on.
Never did it.
He's got a lot on his plate too. I think.
It ain't for everybody though. You know, like I watch Adventures with Purpose.
Yeah.
Scuba diving and doing cool things, and I want to do it, but it ain't for me really. You know what I mean? I can watch a professional basketball player and think, I want to do that, but I can't do that.
Right.
Everything ain't for everybody. You know what I mean? I don't mean it bad. Just you got to kind of enjoy what you do.
That's true. Brian had a question. B-roll from the video better to do it before the intro or after the intro?
B-roll from the video.
I think doing B-roll during a video kind of catches the eye more so. Because I've been watching several, I've been watching.
What kind of B-roll we talking about? We talking about an intro B-roll?
Well, now that's a good question. But he was saying after, before or after the intro. So I'm assuming he's just talking about in general.
Like a B-roll, like if you're going out on the water, it's just like a video, like a short clips of
putting your boat in the water and all that,
or whatever.
Yeah. What do you think about?
I think everything you do, and I mean me too. I'm not leaving me out of this. Everything you do, you should look at it and figure out a way to shorten it. Yeah. Like that's my honest opinion, because I do that all the time. Like I can't think of no examples, but I was editing last week and something that I normally would have done, I didn't do it that way. I shortened it, cut it in half, did it a different way, because I think it just it holds people's attention better. You don't want to drag nothing out because it gets boring.
Chad said, that's how I feel when I see fishing and stuff videos. I want to be that awesome.
That's how I feel when I see his videos and we'll be that full of crap. Where's the Chuck Norris jokes?
There you go. Sunfish Assassin. He states in a fishing video, B-roll is everything but catching fish. But that is true. That's everything from, like you said, putting your boat in to just going down the water itself, that kind of thing. I think I've done this before, and it seems like those videos, I've gone back and I've looked at it, it seems like those videos that I did this in, they seem to do better or have done better, where I basically, I was fishing a spot, I decided to move, so I just kept my camera rolling, as I was moving. and it seems like a lot of people like to see that. Like to, it's almost like they're in the boat with you, and they're traveling along.
Technically, if you're moving, if you're fishing and then you move and leave the camera on, that's A-roll. That's not B-roll. I'm just saying that's the actual footage. Like to me, B-roll's everything. Yeah. And if you watch my videos, there's tons of B-roll, but I'm talking usually. Like if I go well, sometimes I use flat seal, sometimes I use plastic dip. I'm showing you the flat seal, and I'm showing you can plastic dip. Like all that's B-roll because my talking is the A-roll, and I'm covering me up. Because I don't want me on camera more than 4 or 5 seconds at a time. That makes sense. If you watch my videos, you won't see my face more than 4 or 5 seconds usually.
Yeah, it's usually about the product.
And then, yeah. But
that's why Keith is a hand model. That's why he's a hand model. He's got contracts.
Yeah. Well, I'm showing you. I'm giving you a visual of what I'm saying instead of making you stare at me. Right. That makes sense because you staring at me is going to be boring and you're going to leave.
And we thank you for that.
But it's like telling a story. It's like narrating, kind of. You know what I mean when you go to the B-roll. It's just like you have a narrator in a movie where it says in a land far long ago, far, far away. It's not showing the guy talking, but he's still explaining what you're seeing. Does that make sense? That's what B-roll shines.
Kind of like Kelly's.
Who is your biggest critic?
Me.
and that's the truth. Anybody is doing videos, you're your biggest critic. And me and Keith talk about it. How many times have you changed your thumbnail on your videos after it's been posted?
Me? Yeah. I've changed. Let me see.
He's got it listed.
No, I got to look. I can't remember what.
Your garage hack. How many times have you changed your garage hack?
I changed it 3 times. I hadn't changed it lately because it actually caught, and the garage hack's got over 100,000 views now. Yeah. But like I didn't like the original. I changed the last one twice. I changed the one before that 2 or 3 times. One before that I changed it twice. One before that I changed it twice. The one before that, I don't know why it did good, but it did good. I didn't even like that thumbnail, and I thought, well, it's doing good. I'm going to leave it alone. Then the garage hack was before that, and I changed it 3 times, I think. But
Kelly, you catch that? Did you catch what he said? He just nonchalantly goes, "Oh, that was just got 100,000 views."
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's just like, yeah.
I would kill for 100,000 views.
Just 100,000 views. Just.
Well, I wasn't bragging when I said that. It's like this. I remember when I started doing good, and every time I post a video, it was guaranteed pretty much to get 5,000 views. And we're talking about back in 19 or 20 when I first started doing good. I was getting 5,000 every video, and I was super happy with that. But when I say it got 100,000, I meant that's good. It ain't the greatest because the Bucket X got 350,000, and this a month and a half old. And then my last video didn't do too great. It did good. It got 62,000. But see, I'm still looking at those numbers the same as you guys. That's what you don't understand. I'm judging well, that only got 20,000 views. That would be back then it getting 3,000 instead of 5,000. If that makes sense, because I know the numbers are big, but they stay the same. Like
me getting 100 views instead of 2,000 views. Yeah, it's the same. I'm with you, brother.
Well, and as far as what he was saying, thumbnails are super important, or I wouldn't change them so much. I wish I could hit it right first try every time, but sometimes it just don't fly too good, so I take it off and change it.
You wouldn't believe how many times I'll switch up before I even post it. I'll switch up a thumbnail. I still don't, and I still won't like what I got, but I don't have anything better to put out there. But
Like,
Look at FD Fisherman stated, never
like
fished, but said never knew who fishing stuff was till about a week ago. Saw a picture of him posted with a fan at CatCon. Now I'm hooked on your videos, man. Awesome videos. Keep up the great work. I just wanted to go ahead and share that out there to you, buddy.
Thank you, FD Fishin.
It's like our title for our show tonight. We done changed it.
Yeah,
we changed it before the show because I was like, because he's like, what was it? How to be a success on YouTube, and I'm sure going. Yeah. There's just way too many people that does that, and it's not going to catch attention. So I was like, let me send Keith a message. Hey, what do you think about this for the title? And I'm like, I want something that's going to catch somebody's eye.
I wasn't too helpful, was it? It's like, I don't care what you show me. Like, I don't mess with people's titles because, like, I did a video. Now this is an inside story. I did a video about the acrylic planer boards a while back, and my wife had been wanting a laser for about a year or two. And this company's like, we want to send you a laser, and you do a review. And I was like, I told my wife, I said, you still want a laser? She's like, yeah. I was like, well, I said, okay, let me talk to these people. So I sent them back, and I was like, I'll do it. I'll do an integrated video, but I won't do a review. My wife's like, they ain't going to even send that thing. And I was like, yeah, they will. And they said, okay, you can do an integrated video. And I'm getting to something. And then they sent me a thing back and said, well, you have to make the title of our laser. And I was like, nope, I don't let nobody pick my titles. Because they're that important. Titles, thumbnails, that stuff's way more important. No company's going to tell me what to do, or I just ain't going to do it. I'll buy my own laser. Because it wasn't that expensive anyway. But I thought it was a cool video. And I killed two birds with one stone. I got my wife a laser. I don't care. But she uses it for me. And but the thing is, I was like, no, I picked the title. But here's the thing: if you do YouTube, I do YouTube. When you do YouTube, you learn a lot, and you put a lot of time and effort into it. And them companies, if they could do YouTube, they wouldn't ask you to do it for them.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And they're not going to tell me what to call it the video. And that might sound smart, okay, but it's not, because
it's your channel.
The video is important to me, not their product. The video. And I wouldn't put it on there if I didn't like it. So I'm not talking about being fake or nothing. It's just every video is important. And that's how you get up to where you can get 60, 70, 100,000 views every video. It's a little building block, one on top of another, and one on top of another. I didn't start out, like I said, I used to be happy when I was getting 5,000 views every video. After 3 years, I think. Yeah. Doing YouTube.
He never said 100 something views or nothing.
I had 30. I had 30 subscribers for 6 months. After I'd done YouTube for 6 months, I still had 30 subscribers. Had like 10 views on most all my videos, except for my first one. Took off. I didn't get a single subscriber. It sucked. I just got lucky with the title and the thumbnail.
That goes to a new question. To have all those views, is it also important to be able to gain a subscriber off of it? Because if you don't, then all those views, is it even still important?
Well, it's important to learn how to get views, because there's games to that. And the games are not algorithm games, not no secrets. The game is just like a book company. They put books on the shelf. They put the best cover on that book and the most interesting title they can find. And once you learn how to play that game, you can make people click. They'll be like, oh, that sounds interesting. They click it and they watch it. But if your video sucks, you don't get no subscribers. And they watch about half of it and leave. You know what I mean? So it don't blow up, but you'll get more views. And you're like, oh, that one did better than all of them. Because you learn how to make people click, and that's important too. That's probably the first thing you need to learn. But that's what I was saying at the beginning. I wish I'd have spent more time making good videos, because that's important too. Getting the clicks important. You can make the best videos and not know how to get people to watch them. It's two separate things. Like getting the clicks one thing, and keeping them watching is the next thing.
So Murillo Family Fishing, Agent Murillo asked the question earlier, and I was going to put it out here. It says, is it frustrating when you drop some great advice on some folks and they don't really appear to be listening all that well? Is that a frustrating thing for you, or are you kind of like, you take my advice or you don't?
I don't know. You can tell if somebody's listening, I guess. You know, if you give advice enough, and I'm not one to give advice, there comes a time when people just starts asking you, you know what I mean? And somebody asks me, I'm going to help them because I would have wanted somebody to help me. And there's a guy I've been helping. He does a car YouTube channel, and he's doing good. Like, he talks really good, and I told him the same stuff. I kept telling him, I was like, there's too much in there. There's too much in there. You need to cut it down. And so I screen recorded one of his videos, and I chopped that thing up, and I sent it back to him, and he said, that's awesome. How'd you do that? I was like, I just cut all that dead space out. You know, where you said stuff twice? That's called editing. It really, you get better at editing, you know what I mean? Like, get to the point. Value people's time.
Yeah.
In other words, you know what I mean? We just expect people to watch us. You can't have that attitude. You gotta value people's time. That's why in my comments a lot, you ever notice I say I appreciate it a lot. That's probably my favorite word. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, it's because I appreciate it. Like, I'm not a fake person. I'm just normal, regular guy. And I value people's time. And when people watch, I really do appreciate it. Like, because you guys know how much time and effort you put into a live stream or video or anything. Like, people don't realize how long live streams take. You think you're just on here an hour. I started setting this crap up at 6 o'clock and I almost didn't make it, did I not? I was like, I got on like at 6:59. I was like, woo. Yep. And then my audio wouldn't even work. Like, there's a lot of time goes into stuff. So
it is. I agree
you want it to do good, so value their time.
There you go.
And you'll do good.
Catfish Bill 66 said fishing and stuff is awesome. Hopefully though.
I hadn't seen Bill since that tournament we was in too.
Yep.
Question from Larry's Hunting and Fishing says, how do you pick the right title?
There you go.
That's something you learn from trial and error. Like, and I don't always. That's why I said I change thumbnails a lot. Sometimes I go, oh, that didn't work. But I'll give you some advice though. Like Hagen Grubbs, I don't know if anybody watches him, but he does pretty good on YouTube. Me and him used to talk, and he does really good. I didn't make him blow up. I'm not taking credit for that, but we was talking one day, and he's like, he put a video out, and I was like, man, you need to change that title. He said, why? You know how he is? He's like, why? Because he's real country. He reminds me of Randy Travis or something. He's like, why? And I said, because it's called catfish, like fishing the Ohio River. And he said, yeah. I was like, do you not realize that, like, 6% of 200,000, what's that? Because 6% of my audience is from Australia, and 5% is from Canada. Like, there's people, and I'm not talking about my audience, I'm just talking, there's people that fish all over the world and all over the United States. Okay, guys in Mississippi don't care about the Ohio River. You understand where I'm going? And people in Australia don't even know what that is.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So you're narrowing down your audience like real small if you put fishing in Ohio. Just call it bumping for catfish or a free lining for catfish. I mean, anything like that anybody can do anywhere around the world is going to do better than calling it the lake you're on. that make sense?
Yeah.
Have you noticed
like
his
hitting a
videos?
70-foot hole?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great title. I mean, because
Have-
everybody. I'm sorry.
That's, I was going to say, have you noticed on his video on Hagen's videos that at the end of his title he'll have parentheses and it'll be like epic catfishing or good, really great time or something like that. That's what caught my eye about his titles. I started looking at his titles more when I started noticing him doing that.
Yeah,
and I thought it was pretty awesome.
Well, he grew because he makes great videos too. That's what I was saying before. Like he don't waste a lot of your time. Like I was talking to somebody and they was like, "Well, I caught 30 fish. How can you make a 10-minute video with 30 fish?" I was like, "I can do it," because I'll be like, "I caught 30 fish," and like I would reel in the first one and be like, "We fixing to have a good day," and then like reeling in the next 10, it'd be like ding 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 ding, like number. You know what I mean? I could skip through 10 that way and do something else. Like make the video creative, if that makes sense. I seen one where Luke Nichols caught 100 bluegill, and the video wasn't but 15 minutes, maybe. You know what I mean? Because when he's catching them, he just go bing, 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 and the number, a lot of it was that.
Yeah, he's not showing all the whole detail of him reeling it in.
No, you don't want to do that. It's boring.
Boom, 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 boom.
And you don't need to show the whole reel-in process. Like, the one with the garage hacks I did, you remember we went fishing and I threw it on there. I was like, I do fish. It was a joke, kind of, but we did go fishing. We only caught one fish at night. Like, it was terrible. Spawn bite, I guess, but I wanted to go because I don't get to go much, and we caught one fish, and I made a joke out of the whole thing, and I didn't show the whole reel in, but I showed the part. My buddy's like, "It's a big," and I was like, "That's a little bitty fish." And then he had it trying to put the grits on, But if you watch how I cut that up, I didn't show the whole process of the rod going down, him reeling it in. You know what I mean? You got to be a little creative.
Yeah. I've started kind of shortening up that process myself. And basically that's due to you and I talking, Keith. You were telling me that same advice. Kind of shorten up the catch, a little bit. Shorten the whole netting process, and getting it out of the net, and shorten all that up because nobody really wants to see that. They want to see. They want to see the initial takedown. They want to see you start to reel it in. They want to see it being netted, and they want to see you get out of the net, and that's it.
Yeah.
Everything else in between, bam, be done with it.
Yeah, unless it's something good or throw something in there, something funny or something unexpected. That's great. But I remember I was doing a crappie video years ago, and I edited it, and I thought, it's pretty good. And I thought, what can I do to make this video better? And I mean, I was a little channel, and I saw myself like reach over and grab the scales and hook that fish, and I thought they really didn't need to see me get those scales out, so I cut that out of it. You know what I mean? And I started learning from there. Like, they don't need to see everything.
Yeah. There's Patriot Catfishers. Mary, what's going on, Patriot James? There's Matt from Wannabe. Well, I think we lost Kevin. Kevin, there he is.
All right, I'm back.
We back.
So
back again.
Yeah, we had. I hate to admit this, but we've had some issues with internet service around here today. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to make it in this afternoon. I called Kelly up and said, "Hey, you may wind up having to run without me tonight." So it's a couple of times.
The first time.
So anyways, that's what happened. I'm sorry, guys. And I missed what you were talking about, Keith. Forgive me, brother.
Oh, wasn't important.
I saw that Patriot James is in the house. Welcome, James. Thank you for coming in, brother.
Always saying he was congratulating me on my big fish, and that Kevin, you'll never be any big fisherman than I am. That's just all he was saying.
Oh. Well, we'll start with this. FD states, so as a relatively new YouTuber with a small audience and not the best talker, what would be the best advice for making better commentary during live streams? I'm bad with editing and computers. Well, Keith doesn't do live streams. Kelly doesn't know what you're talking about. My advice is just do it.
But the only way you get better at anything is doing it.
Engage with your audience. Talk with them.
Yeah, engage with them. I think that is key. Engaging with the audience, and in this particular case.
I'll tell you one of my best videos, one of my best live videos that I did. I was actually on the bank fishing, and I had one of our friends from overseas. Everybody knows her, the Bandit Frogster.
Yeah.
She was up doing my chat, and we actually sat and actually talked about the history of the lake that I was fishing on. How many miles of shoreline, just different history of it, and it actually kept. I think I had like 40 something people at one time, like for like a whole 45 minutes to an hour, because we was talking about something that was important to me because it's where I live. This is my history of my town, so it was more passionate for me to talk about it, and actually. A lot of people are interested in it because here we are, we're sitting on a man-made lake that's got probably one of the longest shorelines in the United States.
Yeah.
I think you need to learn to edit. Like if you're going to do YouTube, even if you just plan on doing just nothing but live streams, editing's still important. Like especially making thumbnails and different things. But nobody started out good at this. I didn't. I was terrible. I mean, it took me 6 years to get to where I'm at. And that was with a lot of studying and homework and learning and trial and error. And you get better doing it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't learn enough to be good at it. It's like you can read a book about driving a car, but you're not going to get good at driving a car unless you drive a car. That's why we have driver's ed. You know what I mean? And you just got to do it. And
well, there's YouTube videos. There's YouTube videos that helps you too. So I mean, you've got to watch them.
Yep.
Help you because you're gonna learn something. You're gonna learn something different from everybody.
Well, people love to fish. They watch videos about fishing and they go, "Oh, I learned a new technique." They go out there and they try it and they try it and they try it, and then they get to where they can do it eventually. And YouTube's the same way. I mean, if you love YouTube. If you really want to do it good, if you care about as much about it as you do fishing, then you got to learn things and then try it and try it and try it until you get good at it. You know what I mean? Just doing it is important.
Just start doing it and learn it as you go. That's the best way to do it, I believe. That's the way I learn. And
being nervous and not being a good talker, you just got to be yourself. I mean, like, that sounds easy, but like... However you talk around your friends, learn to talk that way to the camera, and you'll get better at it. Like, relax.
I think one of the best advice that I ever got, I can't remember if it was you or who it was, to be honest with you, that I ever got was, I don't think it was you, Keith, was basically when talking to the camera, envision your best friend standing before you. And I think it was the advice that you gave me. And it was several years ago. I remember that much. But yeah, it was. I think that was the best advice, and it helped me to engage better with the audience, and being able to do my live streams. You know, when Pop and I were doing our Torching Thursdays, yeah, we had each other to feed off of, but we were engaging with the audience, and we were talking to that camera as if we were talking to those people in general, you know, like to their face, you know. And I think it went well, you know, really well. It went over really well and everything. So, before I get done here, I wanted to go to this question here. Laughing Cat asked, "How do you plan to improve your future videos, Keith?"
I don't know. I just keep learning, keep improving. I mean,
make new Mr. Lure characters.
Well, I learn every video. Like, I do new stuff all the time. Just like I was telling you about cutting off the end.
Yep.
This boom cut. Like, this stuff comes, like, you learn stuff every video. You don't just like do a bunch of videos and go, hey, you know what? I think It's more like every video, something should be improving. You should learn something or try something new. And I think the last year, I'd say the last year, I've really learned a lot about thumbnails and worked on those really hard. And I think that's improved a lot of stuff, like a lot of views, titles and thumbnails. You always should be learning something because there's a lot to YouTube.
I've been doing this for 4 years, and I'm learning something new every day.
I learned to do live streams this year.
Hey, there you go. I mean, the thing is that there's so much that you can. Yeah, you have actually. There's been so much. There's been so much that that I've learned over that period of time. Just basically getting getting to know people, talking with them, and getting their advice. That and seeing where they are at a certain point, and I've learned, and I'm still learning to this day. Because I go back and I look at. I always go back. That was another thing I was going to say too. Just talking about improving. The question was what's your future plans for improving your videos? Basically, go back and look at what you did before, because I do this all the time. Go back and look at what you did before. See how you improved over that time frame by watching your videos in order according to how you put them out there, and then improve on that. Is how I look at it.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you're not a student of YouTube, you're not gonna do good on YouTube. If you don't love YouTube, and what I mean by that, you can go. I watch all the fishing channels, but that's not what I'm talking about. You should be watching other things, and you should be watching big YouTubers. What makes you better? Which person is going to be better? A 16-year-old that plays basketball in the backyard every day with his 10-year-old brother, or his 10-year-old brother that's playing basketball every day with his 16-year-old brother? Which one's going to be better? Right. Eventually. I mean, it don't happen overnight. That 10-year-old is going to be a good basketball player because he's playing against a 16. And I don't study. It might sound mean, but I don't mean it mean. I watch all kinds of channels. I watch little YouTubers that's got 1,000 subscribers all the time. But when I'm studying, I'm going to be watching people that's got like 3 million, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because there's a reason they have 3 million. And when we was talking about pacing and presentation, they do things that we haven't learned yet. And I'm including myself in that because I don't have 3 million subscribers. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of paying attention to why they're doing that, how they're doing their B-roll. Does that make sense? Just looking, and I'm not trying to copy them, because if you can take a little bit from everybody, and you don't have to watch fishing videos all the time either. You can watch automotive videos or camping, or you know what I mean.
Well, you can get a little bit of knowledge on how to present your videos by watching, like you said, other people, not just fishing videos, but other people's videos. I do the same thing. I watched it was a Dodge Ram video about the light, and I had some issues with my lights, so I watched several actual videos of people changing out the headlights and the wiring harness problems that was unfortunately that plagues these particular type Dodge trucks. And I saw one particular guy who made such a great video. He was in it right at the beginning. You never saw him again. Everything was about the product, the placement, what he was doing, And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, And it was almost like it was uncut. But then I went back, watched it again, and I could see those subtle little hints of where he actually, cut and just kept rolling with it. And I actually incorporated that into some of my latest videos.
Well, you could go watch a hiking channel and say that I'm just saying, for instance, like if it's a hiking channel and they go hiking somewhere every week and make a video, right? And you go, and it's a huge channel, and you go, how are they presenting that? What do they do at the beginning? Brian B was talking about B-roll at the beginning, in the middle. What are they doing? They got millions of subscribers. They go hiking every week. They're going to start out today. We're going to hike the Appalachian Trail. You know what I mean? And they're going to have a presentation. What if you took that presentation but put Fishin on it?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? The way they presented it and copied them. Because nobody would know it's a hiking channel. And I'm not telling you, I'm like, don't copy fishing channels if you do fishing, because everybody's going to be like, you're just copying such and such. But you know what I mean? Like, look at the way they're presenting it and apply that to your fishing channel. You could come up with something new. You know what I mean? And
so Larry asked, does asking people to like, comment, and share, and subscribe, and turn on the notification bell worth putting in your videos, or just letting the people watch the site on their own? And he says he hopes that makes sense. I understand what he's trying to say. Or basically, is it worth having that in your videos?
I think it is. I don't do it anymore.
I don't either.
But I've kind of learned they either like it or they don't. But in that same token, I think when you're little, it don't hurt you at all.
Yeah.
To like, I did it for a long time because I realized like a lot of people don't even have channels. These people watch my channel, they're not even subscribed. They just go on there and watch because they don't even know how to make an account. They still think subscribing means paying money and stuff. You know what I mean? And I did that for a long time when my channel was smaller, and I'm not against it. I just kind of took it out. I just started thinking, well, people subscribe with it in there, with it out. So I just quit doing it to try to keep my line flatter. But if you're going to do it at the end. That's my suggestion because, like I said earlier, you're talking about your name and stuff. If somebody comes to watch your video and you're wasting 5 minutes of their time talking about subscribe because it helps them with the algorithm, helps YouTube share my video, they don't care. That ain't what they come to watch. Go right to your video, get to the point, don't respect their time, then put it at the end. You know what I mean? If you enjoyed the video, think about subscribing because I do this every week. Make it short.
Right.
That makes sense. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Just value their time and put it like at the end, towards the end.
Well, one of the things, and this is one of the reasons I quit doing the whole subscribe and hit the bell and blah, blah, because I did that right at the beginning myself. But the whole reason I stopped doing that was I had a good friend of mine, and we were just talking in general one day about YouTube, and he has a YouTube channel. I won't say who it is, but he has a YouTube channel. He doesn't do anything with it. He just started out just wanting to showcase some of the stuff he was doing, and then he kind of got tired of it and decided not to do it anymore. But he made a comment to me that kind of stuck with me, and after that I actually stopped doing it. The comment is that he can tell without actually going to that channel and seeing how many subscribers that particular channel has when there's a new channel out there, or a small channel out there, because it'll have either right at the beginning or somewhere within that video, it'll have like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you can see more of what I put out.
Yeah.
And he says when he sees that before, if it's a new video and he sees that, he automatically knows that's a fairly new channel, meaning, I mean, they could have been out for 3 years, but they have very low subscribers, they have very, low views, et cetera, so on and so forth. But they know, but they're struggling, so they're asking you to do that, and I said to myself, that makes sense. People, I mean, Canby Anglers has a name now. I mean, I'm not patting myself on the back, and I'm not as well known as I would like to be. But the fact of the matter is a lot of people who knows who Canby Anglers are. They know who I am, or they know if they don't know who I am, they sure know who the Twerking Monkey was.
That's what I was thinking.
It was
Kevin. They sure do know what Opal is.
I mean, I told the old boy that I was gonna make him famous, and I did. So I mean, there you go. But I mean, the fact of the matter is that it got me thinking about it. I was like, that makes sense, and so I just quit doing it. I just quit putting it out there. I mean, I'm kind of like the last part of what Larry was saying. If they watch the video and they like it, they're going to want to see more. And if they know enough about YouTube, they're going to subscribe. It's a given. Yeah. And so I just quit putting it out there personally.
Yeah, I think that's a lot right about what you said. Like I quit doing it, but that don't mean it's bad. I would just suggest do it at the end because give them what they clicked on it for to start with. You know what I mean? Like hook them in there.
Here's another little question: is I know for a lot of people that, especially that watch my channel, a lot of them are just a few hundred subscribers in their channel, but some of them that have live streams is the PayPal or Venmo or some kind of a Cash App, them pinning that to their chats. I used to do it, but I got to the point where it made me feel like I was begging for money.
Exactly.
Now, do you feel like that people are doing that is okay, or do you feel like
I don't have a problem with it. I wouldn't do it. Like I did a premiere on a video a couple of times. Like it was something new, and I thought I'd try that. And basically, while the video's playing originally, there's a chat section, you know. And I thought, oh, I didn't even know what it was. So I started talking to people. I thought, well, this is kind of cool. And somebody donated some money to me, and I was like, oh, that makes me feel bad. like I appreciate it at the same time. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it makes me feel bad because I guess I got different upbringing when I was, because I'm old or something.
Well, yeah. I kind of pushed it there for a long time. I was like, I pinned it to the top of the chat, and I would say.
But I get why people do it because YouTube ain't free.
Channel and stuff like that, and help do other things to the channel. Like then I got to the point. It's like that's almost like me begging somebody to pay for my fishing trip. I've got a job. I don't need somebody to support me.
Well,
I mean, if they want it, it's fine. It's their choice, but I'm not going to push on somebody.
I was going to say, at the same time, though, it takes, I mean, yeah, you work for, you know, you work, you have responsibilities, you have a family, so you're working for you and your family. YouTube is just a separate aspect of that, and you're taking money from what, you're literally, in some cases, you're taking money that could be put towards your family, you know, to do these things. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And you have to, at some point, you have to look at it and you say, do I really need to drop this $100 to go fishing just to make a video so I can get some videos out here, you know, because of gas and et cetera, so on and so forth? Or can I take this $100 and apply it towards a bill? And I've had to do that a lot, especially lately, you know. And I'm not a big channel. In other words, I'm not monetized. So I'm not getting any money off of anything having to do with YouTube. I'm just straight up putting videos out. So if someone were to donate to me, yes. I'm like you, Keith. I would be extremely grateful for it because it will help in the long run. But yet at the same time, I'm not going to beg for it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No.
That's just the way I am.
And see, that's what I felt. I felt if I pinned it to the top, I was begging for somebody to donate it to me.
Well, I mean, but YouTube's expensive too. That's why a lot of people will donate, you know, without you even asking them. Because some people get it, some people don't. And I mean, I don't have a problem with either way, like I said, though, because it just made me feel awkward. But I make some money from YouTube. But people don't know how expensive YouTube is, like, either. I think last year I spent $6,800 on materials. Like to make stuff, just materials. And I'm not talking about cameras, computers, none of that. Just PVC, pool noodles, buckets. I'm just materials. I spent almost $7,000 making videos.
Think about it from a fisherman's, you know, from an angler's viewpoint. You know, I mean, you were there. You know, you understand what I'm saying. You know, Keith and Kelly both. You know. Our money, if we were to go back and tally up all the gas that it took for us to be able to travel to different lakes, for us to be able to just travel to our home lakes for that matter, how much it costs for bait, or at least, you know, bait to catch bait for what we fish for, you know, you tally up all the time, you know, that's been put forth in it, which time is not money, but it is money at the same time because you could be taking that time to do something else that could be producing more money or whatever the case may be. But you take all that in account. It's really expensive for us to do what we do.
Know some movies don't break even because they spend like $500 million making a movie and they'll make 400 something million back, and they don't even break even. if the movie's not good enough. I mean, I'm being honest because stuff costs money, and YouTube costs money too. And when you small, you start out smaller. I remember I about freaked out that you remember like the first video I ever had blow up, what I call blow up, was the PVC video. It like did really good, and that was 3 or 4 years ago. And I'm glad it did because I spent $150 on PVC and joints, and I got out of those. I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? You know, but I got that money back. I didn't know
about that in your last videos of doing your PVCs. Like the joints were getting so expensive.
Yeah, that one rod rack I made was $48 on the first video, and now it's over $100, like $120 to make the same rod rack. I'm like, good gracious.
Matt wants to know, do you ever sell your stuff after you make it, or do you just put it back in a warehouse somewhere?
I don't sell nothing. I feel bad. It's kind of the same way. There was a kid that lived at I guess he lived 20 miles from me in another town, and there's a lake in between us, and he was like, would you make me a nav light? Remember the nav light I was talking about? I just made that video, and this has been years ago. He's like, would you make me a nav light and sell it to me? And I was like, when I read it, I was like, yeah. I said, meet me at the lake, you know, and told him when to meet me. And the day came for him to come. It was a day or two later. And he texted me back and he said, I forgot to ask you how much it was. And I was like, you can afford it. Just meet me there. And I gave it to him. And he was like, man, I'll buy it. I was like, I don't want to sell it. But I give stuff away. And you know Glenn's fishing adventure? He was at the tournament. I made those T-bars for him. He actually paid for the material.
Yeah.
Like, he wanted them and told me what he wanted, and I think the material was $100 or right around there for the bolts and everything, and he paid for the material and I made them. So it just saved me some money. I was like, okay.
Exactly.
So I made a bit.
And something like that, you know, I mean, in your particular case, because you have the material to make these different. In other words, I say material. In other words, the skill and the tools to make these things, you know. And I can see if somebody asks you to make something, you know, hey, can you make these T-bars for me? Sure. If you can afford to do, you know, if you can afford the material, and this is how much the material is going to cost, I have no problem making them for you, and I'll make them for free. You know, that actually cuts out some of your costs, and then all you've really got, you know, tied up in it is some time, you know, and effort to put towards it. You know,
the problem is people want me to make stuff already made all the time. They're like, hey, will you make me some of them multiple? I'm like, no, I already did that video. I ain't doing it. Like, I don't have time to make nothing and sell it. Because people ask me that all the time. And I feel like I'm being rude, but they don't get, like, when you work and do YouTube, you don't have no extra time. You know what I mean? Because I got to make a video. I can't make something for you and make a video and work. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Well, you know, it goes back to people asking you to take them fishing. You know, for us that, you know, have boats and go to the lake and show what we do on the lake. You know, I have people all the time asking me, you know, hey, can you take me fishing? Why don't you take me fishing sometime? And I'm cool with that. But at some point, if I take them fishing, I don't mind taking them fishing whenever I'm going. You know, I'm going to place. Why don't you come on, drop on, you know, jump the boat? But if I'm going to make an effort to, you know, okay, I can go, I'm going to need some help with gas. I mean, with all this gas issues that we've had recently, I'm going to need some I'm going to need some, you know, help with the gas. If you can help with gas, I'm golden with everything else. You can use my rods, my reels, my boat, you know, use everything that I have, and I'll put you, you know, I'll try to put you on fish if I can. You know, there's no guarantees there.
That's just common sense, though.
Sure, but I mean, you almost have to ask them for this, you know.
Well, if I go with my best friend a lot fishing, we'll go in his boat. Sometimes we'll go with mine, but when we go fishing, yeah, I do the same thing. But he'll be filling up gas. I'll be like, I'll buy all the drinks and stuff if he gets the gas or whatever, and he'll be like, no, I'll go out there. I'm like, nope. And then I do the same thing when he tries to buy gas for me or something. You know what I mean? But it's still just the proper thing to do, and we're best friends. So,
right.
You know, with a stranger, I couldn't not offer to pay for something.
Right.
But just,
well, you know, when we were up there, you know, a few months back, you know, when we were all up there at Lake Wiley, you know, I was with Richard, and you know, I fully expected, you know, because I mean, I spent, you know, Richard Warscap, he offered to, you know, put us up, you know, or put me up, you know, while I was there, so I wouldn't have to spend money on motels and all that. And I fully expected to be able to, you know, pay for my own food, you know, any baits or anything of that nature. And whenever I tried to give him something for it, he's like, "No, I'll just use it as a write-off." Okay, you know. But then we turned around, and Justin and I, we kind of turned around and we did it. You know, we kind of did it anyways. We didn't use his money to buy some things, and he didn't know that.
Yeah,
but,
well,
you know,
if he can write it off, that's cool. But he could still use. You could have given him the receipt. He still could have used it as right.
Exactly. You know, I mean, but he was like, "No, we're good." You know,
Solo Texas Adventures had a thing about auctioning stuff at the CatCon,
yes.
And I've actually thought about doing that, but I never have done it. I need to take time to do it because I need to rebuild a couple of things. But I thought about, you know how they got Patreon where you donate and what is that? I don't know. I don't do none of that. Where they some of them like channel memberships or something. What do you call that stuff? Y'all know. Y'all do live stream.
Yeah, it's the membership and stuff like that. Yeah.
I thought about doing something like that, where like Patreon, like if you give $5 every month. This is what I was thinking. Now I'm not saying I'm doing it because I ain't really thought it through. But say you give $5 every month, then I'll have a list of the DIYs I made, and if your name gets drawn, you can pick one of them, and it don't matter if it's like 30 pounds. Like the $5, I would have to have. I figured it up one time, but I'd have to have like 50 people to kind of cover shipping for certain things. But as long as I could get a certain amount of people, I thought that would be cool because I wouldn't do it for money anyway. But kind of like what he's talking about. Instead of an auction, just have a drawing.
Just wanted to throw that out there that Mr. Jimmy Rhodes is in. He says, "Hey everyone, sorry so late. I'm pretty sure he's got a sore mouth right now, so I hope everything went well with your surgery this morning, brother. I assume since you're on here that I do not have to visit the Mustang Museum." That's the inside joke, by the way. And I'm glad to see you on here, brother. Here's one from FD Fisherman. He says, "What is your opinion on selling merchandise and obtaining money from YouTube via donations towards fishing costs?" I've got to get the stuff going first. Haha. So I want to kind of answer that if I can. If you sell your own merch, that's great. But before you can sell your merch, you have to have a name. You have to, you know, put your name out there, and you have to be known. And I'm not saying big known. I'm not talking fishing and stuff known. I'm saying you got to have people that's going to be willing to buy your merch.
I agree.
You know, you just can't throw merch right at the beginning because it won't sell. And I'm proof of that because after about a year or so, I started putting, you know, I've still got it up where you can go to my Teespring, which I've not made 1 red cent off of because I've only made 1 sale off, and it was to my buddy Jim, Catman. But I mean, I put up merchandise before I was even a household name, so to speak, you know. And even now, even though people know who I am, or at least knows the channel, I still don't sell merch, you know. So that's
do better with donations. I agree with you. You do better with donations, or even the Amazon affiliate or something. Like, you know, I don't know how good it works. I don't do Amazon affiliate, but a lot of people does it. Like, you can talk about your rod and reel and stuff. You got a link below, or some people make money off of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, doing affiliation with a company off of Amazon. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. And that's actually pretty. I found out that's pretty easy to do. In regards, but you really have to work at it to do it. It's almost like being a pro staff in some regard. And
but you got to get a lot of views. You got to get a lot of views to make money anyway you go. Like merch, AdSense from YouTube. Takes a lot of views.
Right.
I always tell people that when I'm talking to them, like, make good videos. Like, people, I did it too, so I'm not talking about nobody. I did it too. I wanted to be monetized. I wanted 1,000 subscribers. For me, the 4,000 watch hours is hard because I didn't do live streams. And I'm not saying that makes it easier. I think it probably makes it a little easier, but 4,000 hours is a lot of watch time when you start. And but what I always tell people, if you're struggling getting that, you ain't gonna make nothing because that's not that much money. Like what it takes to get to that place, that's not that much money. $200 maybe.
Yeah.
So, and it took you 2 years to make $200. Think about that. That's not that much money.
4 years.
I'm being honest. I'm not saying $200 ain't nothing. I'm saying how hard it is to get, and it takes over a year. Most people. It took me 2.5 years, and to make that amount of views, watch time, subscribers, to get to there, it took me 2.5 years. So it took me 2.5 years to make $180, $200. Then why are you worried about it? Just make better videos. Like put all your effort into growing big instead of just trying to get monetized. You know what I mean? Like look past monetization.
Well, you and I had this conversation last time that we spoke. In regards to monetization, the monetization aspect of it. There for about a year, I struggled. I struggled catching fish and everything else in between. Simply because all I had my mind on was trying to put videos out, trying to get out there and hustle to make have footage to put videos out. What my algorithms were, what I was going to be able to make, how I was going to be able to make these people love me. Basically, was what it was boiling down to. Mm-hmm. And when that year was up and I did not hit those goals, I just sat back and had to think about it, and I said to myself, it's not worth that headache. Once I got over that hump of saying, I'm not worried about it. If it happens, it happens. And I would love for it to happen. I would still love to make a couple of bucks here and there just to help offset some of the fishing trips that I made, But at this point, I'm not worried about being monetized. I'm just going to go out there and do my thing like I've always done. At the point that I start getting real serious with it, that's the point in which I'll start, really pumping it and trying to make it. But I don't think I'm at that point yet. So I do not go into the monetization, program for that very reason. I see Sky in the background. Hey, baby girl.
Hey, Sky.
Also, Mr. Jim Rose, my buddy Jim, Preacher Jim, says, Fishing and Stuff, you're my daughter's hero. She's sitting over here starstruck. And his daughter's name is Shelby. She is named after the Mustang, the Shelby Mustang. I just want to throw that out there.
Hey, Shelby. That's cool there. I got a 66 Mustang.
There you go. So you just actually got somebody to fall in love with you. Stop me.
I was going to give you an example, and this is not bragging. This is to make you realize, like, I've not made that much money on my last video. And it's already got 8,000 hours of watch time. The one from last Thursday. It's got 8,000 hours, and I'm not rich. Like, could I do it for a living? Maybe. I could probably. I'm right there, but I'm not rich. Right. So that's my point. If you're struggling getting 4,000, then quit worrying about monetization and focus on making better videos. If that makes sense, it's way more important because if you struggle to get 4,000, how you gonna make any money once you get there? You know what I mean? You got to figure out how to get more watch time, like grow that.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing ever since. Like I said, ever since I stopped worrying about trying to get monetized, I started putting more time and effort into learning how to make better videos. I've talked with you about it. I've talked with others about it. I've asked, what do you think could make a better video? How I could make a better video? What would catch your attention? I've done different polls with different people, individually, mind you, and and I use what and I use what is the advice that is given me to try to incorporate into my videos. Yeah, that's pretty cool. She's just
I like it. Redneck and Bennett. Actually, if I do something really complicated, like I'm a fabricator by trade, so I like run robot welders. I like to weld and do all kinds of stuff. If I make something real complicated, it don't get as many views. But if I do something like PVC, pool noodle, everybody watches it. Like, oh, I can do that. Exactly. So that's the reason I do a lot of that, because people like it more and it's simpler and everybody can do it. Me, I like welding and stuff. In fact,
that's your day job, right? That's your day job.
Yeah, I like making stuff. I don't know, just about like I love working with wood and everything. I always have.
All I know is you got some of the coolest tools.
I don't even have that many. I don't think.
Whether it's one you made or one you've acquired over the time frame you've been doing all of this, you have some of the coolest tools I have ever seen. And I work in a hardware store, dude. So that says a lot.
I don't think I got that many tools. I mean, I don't even show all my tools either.
It's not just the tools that you have; it's the tools that you also make. Because you're like, well, I don't have this, so I'm gonna make this to help me make this.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's the thing that you're thinking on top of your head, and like, okay, well, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm just go ahead and make it. I know how to weld, so I'm gonna make this to make this. Like,
what was it? The
angled iron. You made it to make that PVC flats.
Yeah. What about the table saw? You turned the saw upside down and bolted it to a piece of wood, or two pieces of wood. I mean, that was awesome, dude. I mean, that was just awesome. I mean, if I'd have thought about it, yeah, I probably could have come up with that idea myself. But the thing is I didn't think about it. And
the thing is, we didn't think about it because we didn't have the use for it. He thought about it because he knew what he needed to use it for and didn't need to buy $100, $200 piece of equipment when, hey, I can make it myself for $5 because I got the product right here.
I get fussed at a lot for tools like smart aleck comments. Like I deleted one this morning. I don't remember what it was, but they're usually like, oh yeah, you got $5,000 worth of tool to make this or something. Like you just bought it. It's basically comments like that. And I'm thinking, well, I got tools anyway. I didn't buy. And some people overlook like an angle grinder. You can get for $10 at Harbor Freight. I'm not a Harbor Freight fanboy. I don't like buy cheap junk. But if you want to make something, they ain't no excuse no more. You can get a Chinese grinder for $10 and make it yourself, And when I built my shop and I built my weld table and all that, I've got 4 of those Harbor Freight $10 grinders because I didn't want to change out discs. I put that on that video. I showed all the grinders. I got like a flap disc on one, a cutoff wheel on one, a wire brush on one. And I did that because I didn't want to change tools all the time. But I've been replacing those grinders with good ones as they go out. Yeah. That makes sense. You know what I'm saying?
It's like
you don't have to have high-dollar tools.
It goes back to fishing. Fish with the materials that you can afford. And replace those materials as you get to that point.
I get a lot of grief over that rod rack video I did where I had all those catfish specials and those Hellcats, and they're like, "Why you need 12 fishing rods?" And I'm like, "I'm getting 12 more."
Why you need a 24 rod holder when you only got 12? 12 more.
But what they don't get though is I've been collecting that Boo Garcias since like 1988. Like I've got old ones. I've sold more than I own now. And I was talking to Chris from Catfish, and he was like, "How many Abus you got?" I was like, I started counting them. I was like, "Well, at least 40." I was, and like I've sold more than I own, over the years because I carp fish for years, and you buy like 3 or 4, and I've sold them and buy me some more in a couple of years, and it's just something I like. It don't mean there's not better reels out there. I don't say you got to have anything. It's kind of like you said, use what you got.
Sure.
And something young people don't understand, like it took me 40 years to get a building. I wanted one my whole life, you know what I mean? It's not just something like, he's rich. No, I raised my kids by myself, single dad. They growed up, my daughter got married, my son's grown, then I like refinanced my house and got a building. I mean, I'm not, you know what I mean? People look at you like, oh, you're advantaged. Nope.
Just do it when you can.
I couldn't make all that stuff if I was advantaged. Yeah. I didn't have nothing. That's why I could make all that stuff.
Exactly. Laura the Explorer stated, "Oh, you and LG Bass must be best friends with the Abu addiction, the Abu Garcia addictions."
You see the next comment? You see the next comment?
Oh yeah, here we go. Tom is over here dying. 40? He'd love to own 40.
Well, here's the thing. Like, it's not that I wouldn't even say they're the best. I wouldn't even say that because Penn Warfare, there's some great, Penn makes some great reels. Mm-hmm. Different companies make some great reels. The thing about Abus I've always fell in love with is how different you can get them, like different colors and stuff. Yeah. The other thing is you can get parts anywhere. They're Chevrolets. They're fishing rod Chevrolets. Like you can get parts anywhere online. Any tackle store has real, handles. If something breaks, you can fix it. So you can buy an Abu and keep it your whole life. You know what I mean? And a lot of reels, it's just not that easy to change parts. So it's not that they're the best.
There was one issue that I know. There's one person on here who I've actually got pulled up on the screen here. We'll have an issue with what you just said. You claimed that Abu Garcias were Chevrolets. Jim is a Ford guy.
And I meant parts wise. Well, okay, I don't want to get your video demonetized, but let's just say they're the AK, they're the AR-15s of rod reels. Okay, like you can get parts anywhere. You can get upgradable parts and stuff, and I just think that's cool.
There goes my channel. There goes my channel.
This video's getting demonetized. I said AR. They're gonna ban it.
Speaking of Jim, he said that he just wished that he was your neighbor because he'd never buy another tool again.
I won't even talk to my neighbors because they always want me to fix them. Speaking of neighbors, my neighbor, I've said this before on live stream, I know I have, but my wife come in laughing one day and I was like, what's so funny? She's like, I was talking to the neighbor and it's like, does your husband, she said they didn't know how to say it, they kept stuttering. I was like, did your husband talk to himself down there in his building? And she just started laughing and said, no, he's either on the phone or he's doing YouTube. It's like, oh, it's okay. Let him be him. Let him be him. It's okay. And like they didn't believe her. They thought I was like, let them think I'm crazy. We're better off if they think I'm crazy.
Because they'll stay away.
See, the problem is my neighbors know I'm crazy. So
yeah, but
I don't think it's just the neighbors. I think it's everybody.
You're
the only
I know you crazy, but you ain't walking around talking to yourself crazy.
But you ain't with me 24/7 either.
Swinging from the pole in your bedroom.
What?
You're the only person I know that has that.
Wait, say it again.
I said you're the only person that has a teddy bear in the corner and a swinging from the pole in the other corner.
It's right behind me, and I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Laura was saying. Laura the Spoiler, she said. Sleep. Says like being a truck owner and everyone wants to borrow your truck.
Yep.
It's having the, yeah. I agree with that.
It was a few weeks ago. I told my wife I'm buying a trailer. I was like, I don't need a trailer, but when they want to borrow my truck, I'm gonna say you can borrow my trailer. That's
right. Solo Texas stated, Keith, can you make me some nuts and bolts to fit in the Versatrack on my Lund boat, please? They are standard quarter bolts just in case. It would really make my day.
Can you? Cool.
So, in other words, what Solo just stated was, can he borrow your truck? He also stated that they're expensive, and I do agree with that. A lot of things are expensive these days. As I said, I actually manage a hardware store, local hardware store here, a True Value, and I have seen, talk about PVC pipes. I have seen PVC pipes jump these past 2 years from I'm talking like a 200% joist, which is crazy. It's been just stupid crazy, and you can't. We're having issues. I don't know how the places that you deal with, Keith. We're having issues with actually getting materials in house. We can't because they're out at the warehouse. They can't get them in quick enough for us to be able to get them into our stores, and yet they're god awful expensive. And I don't understand all that.
It has to do something with crude oil because I know it's shipping too, but you know the garage hack video I did. Well, 6 months before I did it, I bought like 10 totes because I was going to clean that shelf off. Before I even made the video, I'd already bought them, had lids. Well, when I started doing it, I didn't have enough. So I ran back to Dollar General, the place I got them, to get the same exact totes. They were $4.99 when I bought them 6 months earlier, and they were $9.99 when I had bought some more. They doubled in price. It's all plastic. Plastic's just like going out the roof.
Yeah. It used to be that plastic was like the cheap stuff, that you could make anything out of. Yeah. And now you're just about better off going and buy the wood to make this stuff out of. It's actually cheaper to buy wood than it is to buy PVC.
Well, people make stuff out of wood, and I always say I'd rather make it out of steel because, it's about the same price, but wood you got to buy screws, and screws are ridiculous high, and I can just weld steel, just weld it together. I don't need no screws or nothing.
Well, you got
it's just like I told Kevin. Well, on my boat, and you've seen it too, Keith. Is my rod rack. It's made out of wood, but the thing is, I didn't buy the wood. It's from my neighbor's barn that they built. I just got the scraps. So here I am. I've already got all the scraps.
If it's free, it's for me.
He calls me up, Keith. Kelly calls me up in the middle of the night. He goes, Hey, Kev, what's up? He says, so how much trouble you think I would get in if I actually went across to my neighbor's house and lived in the wood that they tore this barn down? I was like, well, none if you don't get caught.
He said, hey, Kevin, can I borrow your truck?
Real story is,
next thing I know,
leave the tag on it.
Yeah, pull the
real
tag.
Story is the owner of the barn doesn't even know I have the wood.
See, I was actually just joking, and he just thought on himself.
I don't watch my show.
That's all right. I stick in my neighbor's pool all the time.
We do. We don't sneak. We just go over
That
there.
guy ain't even my neighbor. I do that pool stuff with. I worked with him for 20 years, and he's got a pool, and I had to drive like 25 minutes to get to his house to do those videos. Everybody's like, your neighbor's gonna get you. I know it. He don't live nowhere near me.
Well, you're a country boy like I am, and a neighbor can be 20 miles away. So hey. Now you have you was talking about the metal. You have an area that you can actually go get. It's a recycling area.
This is a scrapyard.
Yeah.
They if it's all bent up or whatever, they crush it. It's a regular scrap. But when they get like a load of steel in that somebody had left over or they're getting rid of, they'll put it over in the yard and you can go through it and buy it for scrap price. So it's cheaper. And
it's cheaper. Well, that's what I was going to say too. A lot of people look at your, at your videos, those that you do by, with steel, and they think to themselves, God, that's an expensive thing. How's that a DIY cheap, deal?
No, still cheap.
It's not cheap, but I mean, it's still cheaper than going buying straight wood.
Last time I bought it was 30-cent a pound, and I mean that's pretty cheap. But it's probably $1 now or so. I don't know. Everything's went up, but it's still cheap. You know, when wood is like a 2x4 is $8. I mean, 30-cent a pound for steel is pretty cheap.
Yeah.
But I get fussed at they're like, you can't put steel on the boat, it'll rust. I'm like, your trailer's steel. You put it in the water and it don't rust.
If you doesn't prime it correctly, and keep it up, it won't rust.
Well, if it rusts, you can sand it down and repaint it. Take it off and paint it. I mean, it's stronger. It's actually, to get the same strength, believe it or not, with pressure-treated lumber anyway, or aluminum, like an 1/8-inch piece of steel, you have to have at least 1/4-inch aluminum to have the same strength-wise, like a rod rack or something. And aluminum's actually heavier than steel. Aluminum's light. But unless you're using square tubing or something, maybe, but to get the same strength out of a flat piece of aluminum, got to be pretty thick.
Well, still on your square tubing, you still got to have that thick square tubing to be able to have a nice, sturdy, mount or whatever it is. Because if you get the thin tubing, it's all it's going to do is it's going to bend. Or you're going to, especially if you try to use it for a rod rack, where you're going to have, 30, 40, pound, 50 pound, 100-pound catfish, or whatever, grab your line and put that string towards it. You got to have something that's going to hold it. Otherwise, the drain.
That's why I made Glenn's T-bars out of steel that time, because that's how the way I made them, where you put them on, take them right off, real easy. I was like, if they start rusting, just paint them, and you can take the bases off, paint them too. But I kind of like those. Yeah. But I like aluminum too, but there's not too many people that can weld aluminum. I mean, there is and there ain't. It's just a lot farther. I guarantee you there's 100 people got a welder compared to people that not just have something that welds aluminum, but you got to have argon. You know what I mean? It has to set up to weld aluminum.
Right. To do it correctly.
Yeah.
Do it actually correctly. Jim Rose stated, y'all talking about having to invent things. I've had to use a pair of pliers to drive my riverboat back in the dark to the boat ramp after my stick steering rod broke in the boat. True story.
That stinks.
Laura said, what size catfish? No hundos here. Yeah, none here either, Laura, at the moment anyways. I can't even beat, that one, right? Yeah, that one, whatever. There. At the
How big is yours? How big is yours, Kevin? How big is yours?
Yeah, what about your flathead? Let me see a flathead. Go ahead, let me see the flathead. Nah, 0.
How big is your channel cat? How big is your channel cat? How big is your blue cat?
You only got me by ounces. You only have me by ounces, and I'm gonna change that.
Yeah, but I had you by two fish. You got me by
one. Whatever. Rebel Dude said he loves the MIG weld aluminum, and that's what you have to do. You have to MIG weld it. Well, actually, you TIG weld. Weld,
but you got to have argon, and you got to have a spool gun. Well, you don't have to, but most people have a spool gun if they MIG weld.
You can.
Laura, I've got to beat about having to start your vehicle with a screwdriver. Try to roll your vehicle down the hill and jump it with the clutch. No, I'm talking about stick shift. Having to roll it down and then slam on the clutch and stuff to get it to start. I've done that plenty of times.
Yep, done that. Dam River Boys said, not worried about steel rusting on my boat, worried about the steel eating the aluminum on my boat. Actually, there's a hack for that, Dam River Boys. and it's rubber. You literally put rubber between your whatever your steel and your aluminum, and that'll take care of that situation.
And technically, you're supposed to coat between any time you have two different types of metal. Like I worked Freightliner for 25 years, and like tank bends, sometimes they'll be stainless steel. They'll have aluminum bracket, and you're supposed to put like a coating in between anytime you have two different types of steel, like steel and aluminum, or aluminum and stainless, or steel and stainless.
So you can do like he's talking about from the rack to the boat. Couldn't you put like a padding, like a rubber padding?
That's what I'm saying. So all right, so here's what I did, and this is what I'm talking about. I took a galvanized what the heck is it called? It's you screw pipe into it, flange, a galvanized flange, a 1/2 inch galvanized flange, and basically what I was doing, I was making a light. I was making a holder for a light, and I was using galvanized piping to do this, and eventually mounted my camera to it. But what I did was I took a 1/2 inch galvanized flange. I took a piece of I think it was a 1/4 inch, and I went like a quarter, maybe 1/8 inch thick rubber, just like regular rubber, like you would use as a gasket material type rubber. And I cut out around it. I took my flange, put it on there. I took cut it around so it was nice and round to the to the flange. And I screwed that to my aluminum boat. You remember the boat that I had originally, Keith, the backpacker? I screwed it to that boat using that gasket, and never had a moment's problem. To this day, still haven't had a moment's problem with it eating into the aluminum or causing any kind of discoloration or anything of that nature. And all I did was just put a buffer between the two metals, like you were talking about. But I didn't coat anything. I painted it. Now I did paint that piece, but I still used that rubber to cushion and keep those two pieces of metal from rubbing against each other. Because, like you said, putting two pieces of metal, different types of metal together, can cause an issue. And I knew that, and that's how I did it. Was I put a piece of rubber in between them.
Yeah, on Glenn's boat, when I made those steel rod racks, it mounted to it's like synthetic wood with carpet over it. So it wasn't mounted to the aluminum anyway.
Right. Yeah, Damn River Boys was saying, I usually put a piece of rubber roofing in between for a gasket so they do not touch. And that's perfect. Something that's a buffer between the two metals is perfect for something of that nature. So, right. Look here. I looked done 2 hours tonight, man, and it went by quick.
It did go by fast.
Probably got at least another hour or more of talk, probably still.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we're gonna have to discontinue this tonight and bring you back in at some point, buddy.
I can say one thing, Keith. I'd say in the next we're booked up for all the way till mid-October.
Yeah, if not all the way through October, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to go back and look at my.
I think it's already deserved that we need to have Keith back on here.
I agree with that. If you'll have us, Keith, we'd love to have you back in and talk some more, buddy.
We can do that.
Yeah. We'll set up a time
until the end of October. We'll just say it this way: that gives you enough time to come up with some DIYs between now and then.
There you go. No doubt.
Short ones.
Let's see if I can do this. If I can do this without losing you guys, I'm going to go in here and go into my calendar. Let's see, what do we got? All right. So what I was doing, I was checking to see who we have on next week, Kelly, because we do need to go ahead and cut this thing short. I think Keith's got some things he's got to do. Have had a great time doing it. Next week we have I'm going to give you a big hit. We have Brian B. Catfishing. This is going to be a good show, man.
Yes, it's not a secret guest. So we're going to have Brian B. the Dinkins Catfishing.
The Dinkins Catfishing.
Dinkins. Oh, big bling. Oh, bling bling.
Oh, bling bling. Yeah.
Is he still here?
I don't know if he's still in or not, man. He was in here earlier. Larry stated, he says, glad y'all had Mr. Keith on here tonight. He learned a good bit. He wanted to thank us for tonight's episode. He said we were awesome. Appreciate that, Larry. You're awesome too, brother. And I seen something else I wanted to, before we get over here. I know
Patriot James says, great show tonight, guys.
Yeah, Patriot was saying that. Laura was talking, when we were talking about where you can get metal, cheap metal and such as that. She stated you can snag a lot of great stuff from garbage facilities too, and that is true. Especially those that use recycling bins to separate, the metals and such as that. They have a lot of those in the Atlanta. Yeah, right. What else was it? I thought there was one more. Oh, Super Smurf Eric Fishin was in here. He stated, hello, Kelly, Keith, Buddy, and KMB.
I like how you put and KMB.
And KMB. I noticed that. Yeah. And KMB. It's like, hey, Buddy. Hey, Kelly. Hey, KMB. Yeah. It's all right. It's all good. Doesn't hurt my feelings. So, but anyways, yeah, man, we'll set up another date and have you back on here, brother. No doubt. That's good. It's always a pleasure talking with you, regardless, man. Whether it's on the phone or whether it's in person or whether it's live, it's always a pleasure talking with you. And regardless of what we're talking about, I've always enjoyed talking with you. So, but
well, I appreciate y'all having me.
Maybe we can have a special appearance from the lure the next time.
Yeah. That's right. Maybe we'll get them up here too. All right. I think we need to cut this thing tonight, Kelly. If it's all good to you, brother.
That's fine with me.
I'm tired. I got to get up early in the morning. So, everybody's in chat. Thank you for being in here. And oh wait, hold on. Jim says, throw your scarf in the audience before you leave for my daughter, Keith.
I don't have one.
So,
what's her name?
Shelby.
Shelby.
Like the Mustang Shelby. That's it. Yep.
I appreciate you watching, Shelby. That means a lot to me.
She's a great girl, man. Let me tell you, real smart. She loves to fish, loves to, hunt. I mean, she's definitely a daddy's girl. Her brother, she's a twin actually, and her and her brother like to do a lot of the outdoorsy things that most teenagers are not, and they're teenagers, and that most teenagers are not able to do. So, I know you speaking her name and speaking to her has just made her blush about 5 times the shade of red of a Mustang.
But she's smart too. You didn't talk about her IQ because she got good taste. She's awesome.
But anyways, all right. I think we need to end this thing, Kelly. What you think, brother? Anything else you need to say?
You got any plans this week?
No, I'm working all week, dude. I'm gonna see what I can come up with.
How's your boat? How's your boat coming?
Actually, it's good. I got I literally got the hub put back on. All I got to do is put some more grease in it. I've actually got to put my hub buddies on so I can put more grease in it and everything, get them taken care of. But so far, I was able to move it from where it broke down in the yard. I was able to put it up under the shed now, so it's back in its place.
Hey, there you
go. So that's all good. What is something else I was going to tell you?
My boat's coming along. Should be up and ready to go for Thursday. Fishing with Green Whale and J Dog live.
Hey, there you
go. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna take it out and I'm gonna drag some baits.
Go. Put those procured wood fishing racks.
Yeah, I'm gonna put my wooden rod rack to use.
Yep.
Hey, trust me,
right,
it ain't going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. I can tell you that.
Unless the police find out where you got it.
There you go.
Hey, 9/10 is the law. They don't even know.
Shelby just answered. Keith, Shelby just answered. She said, "Thank you, Mr. Keith. Love your videos." So she piped in on here to say thank you right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
thank you, Shelby.
all right. Well, unless there's anything more, we're gonna be looking for more videos from you, Keith, and stay tuned for all that good stuff. And hopefully, I'll be back on the water pretty soon since I've got all that taken care of. We'll be watching you Thursday, or at least the reruns on that Thursday. I don't know what time you guys are going to be out there. In the meantime,
I think probably about 5 o'clock and be off
oh,
by 7.
If that's the case, I'll be able to watch it because I get off at 5:30. So
yeah,
so that'll work.
That'll be on Greenwell's. That'll be on Mike Greenwell's channel.
Okay, I'll definitely have to watch it. Jim states Jesus is Lord and love y'all. So
appreciate that, Jim.
He gave us his blessing tonight, and I'm glad that he's feeling better. All right. Well, in the meantime, everybody, you all have a great night. Love having everybody in the chat. Keith, thank you for being in here. And as always, we'll be seeing you guys on the water. Till next time, peace out.
Hey, I got something. I got something.
Go ahead.
You want to push us out?
Oh no, he done broke off.
He done broke off.
So we're out.